This is a story about a village of people who live beside a beautiful river. This river has water that naturally flows that is perfectly pure. They can drink the water right from the river without needing to filter it in any way. It is the water they use for their soup and to water their crops and to drink. It supports their lives. And the elders of this village tell the story of this mystical place called the ocean. And they say that the ocean is the source of all life because it's the source of their beautiful river that sustains their lives. Without it, they wouldn't survive. And the elders share how this mystical place called the ocean shares its water up into the clouds, and then the clouds bring that water and shower it on the land that creates their river. And in the wintertime, snow, and that snow melts into the river, and this is what is the source of their river, which is the source of their lives. So this mystical place called the ocean is revered and honored within the village. And they speak of it as being very far away in a particular direction. And there's a girl who's heard these stories growing up all through her years. She's heard about this mystical place called the ocean. And one year, as they're telling the story of the source of all life, this mystical place called the ocean, she makes a decision that she is going to go on a quest in the direction that the elders have said where the ocean is. She is going to go on a journey, a quest, to discover, is it true? Is the source of all life, the ocean, is it real? Or is this just a story that the elders say? So she gathers up provisions and puts them all in a backpack, and she one night sets out on the journey in the direction that the elders say where the ocean is. She doesn't tell anyone, and she's determined to find out for herself. Now, on this journey, she encounters many situations and circumstances that she has to come up with solutions. And so her mind is very helpful to her on this journey, solving situations like adverse weather, rain and wind and hail and all kinds of things that she experiences along the way. And she has to make temporary shelters to get protection from these storms. And her mind is very helpful to her to solve these situations and figure out solutions. And one day she runs out of the food that she brought with her, so her mind has to come up with alternate food sources. And then her water runs out. She has to find new sources of water along the way. And there's wild animal noises and all kinds of unforeseen things that happen along her journey. And her mind is very, very useful to her. It is her ally, helping her solve these problems on her quest to find out if it's true. Is it true? The mystical place called the ocean, the source of all life. Day after day, week after week, she's on this journey. One day she notices the land underneath her feet is really shifting. It's a different color. It's this white-colored, very loose land. It gives way when you walk on it. It moves underneath your feet. There's these rolling hills of this white-colored earth that gives way when you walk on it. And she's noticing that the trees in this land, very unusual. They have trunks like the trees she's used to, but instead of limbs and branches coming out along the tree, she's noticing that these trunks, they go up, 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 and then at the very top, there's a little poof at the top. She's in wonder and amazement at these trees that don't have regular limbs and branches like the trees that she's used to. So all kinds of situations and circumstances she's been navigating for weeks and weeks. One day, there's this very tall dune of this white colored earth that gives way when you walk on it. And she gets up to the very top, and as she crests the top of the hill, she looks over to the other side and she sees it. There it is. The mystical place called the ocean. Instantly, she knows that it's true. It is actually true. The stories that the elders have said all these years is true. She goes running down the backside of this dune. She takes off her shoes and socks, rolls up her pants, stands at the edge of the source of all life, this mystical place called the ocean, and it's lovingly, rhythmically caressing her feet. This cool rhythm of flow in and back out, and she looks out as far as she can see off into the horizon, and it goes on forever. It is vast and forever. This source of all life, this mystical place called the ocean. It's true, it's true, it's true. She's just completely at peace. Her breath is long and slow naturally, and she's content. And she's calm. And she's in bliss. She's just completely at peace. It's true. She's found it. It's true. That's the source of all life. It continues to very lovingly, slowly caress her feet, coming in and going back out. It's true. It's true. She's completely at peace. Her breath is long and slow. She has found it. It's true. Then a thought comes into her mind. And the thought is, how will I ever be able to explain this to everybody back at the village? How will I be able to prove this to everyone back at the village? Her breath is now upper chest, shallow breathing. She's fretting and she's worried and she's stressing. She can't figure out how to solve the situation. How can she prove that this mystical place called the ocean is real? How will she ever explain it? Her mind is fretting. She's worried. She's stressing. She grabs her drink cup from out of her backpack. She's holding it in both hands, her arms extended as far as she can extend them out toward the mystical place called the ocean. And she's got the cup in her hands and she's... And someone who lives in this land has witnessed all of this, walks up to her and says, "Oh my goodness, what is causing you such trouble? Why are you so stressed?" And she looks at the person as she continues to hold her drink cup out, full arms extended toward the ocean. She says to the person, "No matter how hard I try, I can't get the ocean to fit in my cup." The person that lives in this land takes a big in-breath and a big out-breath and says to her, "Yes, this is true. There's another way." And she looks and she says, "Please tell me. You say there's another way? Tell me, what is it? What is this other way that you speak of?" And the person looks at her with just such love and kindness and says, "You can throw your cup into the ocean." In this beautiful story, of course, the cup is symbolic of our mind, and the ocean is symbolic of the infinite absolute essence that permeates all reality, the source of all existence. In that moment where she was completely at peace, when she had discovered that it was true, she was in bliss, she was at peace, she was calm. Then her mind came in to try to help with this, tried to solve, how can we prove this back at the village? How can we explain this back at the village? Her mind was trying to solve this for her. And it took away the peace. It took away the tranquility, the ease, the bliss. She was stressing. Her breath was now upper chest, shallow breathing. And her mind was trying to come up with a solution. "Please, please, please." And so she said to the person, No matter how hard I try, I can't get the ocean to fit in my cup. That's true. We cannot fit the infinite into the finite. We can't fit the infinite absolute truth of existence into the cup of the mind. So when we have mystical experiences of the truth, our mind will come in and try to understand it, to try to make sense of it. But it won't be able to. All it will do is cause stress and concern and worry. So the possibility in any moment where we notice our mind is coming in and trying to solve something that's beyond its ability to know, we can throw our cup into the ocean. We can let go into the infinite, into the unknown. The mind operates in the realm of logic and reason and the known. It doesn't in any way like it when it's unknown, when it's not resolved, when it's in flux. Our mind will always try to get everything solved with the idea that then everything will be okay. So there will be many moments in our spiritual awakening journey where our mind will come in and try to understand the infinite source of all existence. And it isn't capable of that. It doesn't work. So in those moments, the lovely possibility is that we can let go of the need to narrow it down into some box that the mind can understand and throw our cup into the ocean. Letting go into the unknown and enjoying the ride.